This evening, first up, a Mon Repos businesswoman is in custody after a shocking roadside confrontation caught police attention. Investigators said she armed herself with a metal pipe and smashed a canter window and mirrors during a morning traffic dispute. We'll tell you what sparked the incident and why the suspect is already facing cybercrime charges in another case. Plus, a major breakthrough at Parika. Vendors lining the busy market roadways have agreed to move fully indoors by December 29th. Hear what they're saying tonight about safety, order, and how the relocation could reshape one of Region 3's busiest commercial zones. Also, drug traffickers try a new trick but fail. Police uncovered cannabis hidden inside packets of White Oats at the Ogle airport, destined for a remote Region 7 community. No arrests yet, but investigators are tracing the sender. Plus, Ghana's digital future takes another step forward. The government pushes ahead with its electronic ID card system, with state employees already registering. The Attorney General is defending the rollout, insisting privacy is protected and that only basic data is being collected. And on the regional front, rising tension in the Caribbean. The U.S. says it's bombing boats to stop drug smugglers, but Venezuela claims Washington is after regime change and control of its oil reserves. Those stories and more coming up on Headline News Update. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for December 4th, 2025. I'm Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, police in Regional Division 4C are investigating an incident of alleged malicious damage to property that occurred on Wednesday morning at Mon Repos School Road, East Coast, Demerara, resulting in the arrest of 42-year-old businesswoman Rewati Kemraj, known as Annie. According to investigators, the confrontation began around 7 a.m. when a motor canter driven by a 49-year-old man from Good Hope was heading north along Mon Repos School Road. At the same time, a motorcar PAG 4521 driven by Kemraj of Mon Repos North was traveling in the opposite direction. Police reported that the two drivers encountered each other briefly before continuing their respective routes. The situation escalated moments later when the canter driver stopped at a nearby traffic light. Police said the woman allegedly pulled up in her vehicle, exited with a metal pipe, and struck the canter, damaging one of its window glasses as well as the right side rear view mirror. The incident was reported to the police, who subsequently arrested the woman and escorted her to the Mon Repos police outpost, where she remains in custody as the investigation continues. No injuries were reported. The Ghana Police Force has confirmed that inquiries are ongoing. However, Kemraj is currently on bail for cybercrimes committed against the minister within the Ministry of Public Works, Deodat Inder. On a different note, vendors operating along the Parika Market roadway have agreed to relocate entirely inside the market by midnight on December 29, 2025, following a consultative meeting on Wednesday with Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Priya Manikchan. The agreement was reached after what the ministry described as a constructive and consultative engagement. Here is what some of the vendors had to say about the new arrangement.
We are very happy that she gave us extra time to come move in because it's the holiday season.
I agree with the minister, yes, to come in the market. He's glad to come in the market.
We've been out there a long time, and we had times where the weather is bad, we had getting wet, or things getting wet. So we're thankful for this building, and we agreed to move in here.
We agree that we have to move. We have a spot that we have to move.
And we are also happy that we could get a spot in the market to move into.
And it's really uncomfortable there, out there, dangerous. It's very, very dangerous.
We agreed to come up when the minister gave us. We agreed.
Yes, I'm so thankful, So it's years I've been asking for a spot in the market. Happy so. I eventually got one. So I gotta start doing some works on it now. So by the 29th, I should be up there.
On the market for like 17 years, Parika market, and I've been there on the road, sometimes in the rain, sometimes in the sun.
The move aims to clear the busy roadway, improving safety for motorists and pedestrians. Officials say the move will also create a more orderly and comfortable environment for shoppers, enhancing overall market operations. The Ministry of Local Government thanked the vendors for their cooperation and reaffirmed its commitment to supporting a smooth transition into the designated indoor market space. Moving on, the Ghana Police Force has launched an investigation following the discovery of suspected cannabis concealed in outgoing cargo at the Eugene F. Correa International Airport, Ogle. According to police, ranks conducted a routine search on Wednesday around 11:25 a.m. at an Airways shipping facility within the airport compound. During the inspection, officers uncovered 13 small Ziploc bags containing seeds, leaves, and stems suspected to be cannabis. The illegal substance had been carefully hidden inside 4 packets of White Oats, which were packed in a bag intended for transport to Chai Chai village in Region 7. Police said the discovery underscores the continued attempts by individuals to use domestic cargo services to traffic illicit drugs into hinterland communities, a trend authorities have been monitoring closely. The suspected cannabis was taken to the Ghana Police Force Narcotics Branch, where it was weighed and found to amount to 60 grams. The substance has since been lodged as evidence. While no arrests have been made, investigators are working to determine the sender of the cargo, the intended recipient, and any link to wider narcotics trafficking network. The investigation remains ongoing. Stick around when we return. National eID system moves forward as government begins voluntary registration, and railway courtyard to become historic Independence Walkway.
The most wonderful time of the year, and we're celebrating with big savings on smartphones, starting as low as $16,500 for the Samsung A06 and $26,500 for the Samsung A16 and $40,500 for the A26. But wait, there's more. Get 1 month free data with your new phone to keep you close to loved ones near and far. Offer available while stocks last. Visit a Digicel store today and unwrap the gift of real connections. Digicel.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Copy small to make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Check us out at Decor and Gift Gallery this Christmas holiday for all your shopping needs. We are located at 47 Craig and Sheriff Street, Campbellville, Georgetown.
Good girl forget things. What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
The government is moving ahead with the nationwide rollout of its new electronic identification card system, with the first cards expected to be issued before year-end. Registration has already begun voluntarily for state employees. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal said the pilot phase began rolling out in government agencies, collects only basic information already contained in public records, dismissing claims that the system threatens citizens' privacy.
The participation of the process at this initial stage was based upon voluntariness. And secondly, the data collected was of a particular type that is already in the public information system. So data such as names, addresses, ID card numbers, national ID card numbers, passport numbers, TIN numbers, photograph, driver license numbers, marriage certificates, birth certificates, deed polls are all information that are already in the public information system of this country.
Nandlal emphasized that no medical, financial, or other deeply personal data is being gathered.
You can go to public agencies and get this type of information. This is not private, peculiar information. So, no personal medical data, personal information data, personal financial data, such as bank accounts, and medical information, as I said, and those types of peculiar personal data have been uplifted from anyone.
The initiative is backed by two key pieces of legislation, the Digital Identity Card Act and the Data Protection Act, both passed 2 years ago. These laws establish strict safeguards for personal information and create the framework for e-ID registration centers in every administrative region. Nandlal said the early issuance of digital IDs allow authorities to test the system while final infrastructure and staffing are put in place. Participation will remain optional until the law are officially brought in force, after which registration will become mandatory. He added that Ghana is adopting international best practice digital tools to strengthen data security as the country accelerates its national digitalization agenda. In other news, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali on Wednesday unveiled a plaque marking the official opening of the newly restored railway courtyard in Kingston, Georgetown. This urban renewal project will be transformed into a pedestrian walkway, showcasing Ghana's complete pre- and post-independence timeline. The railway courtyard, once part of the former East Coast Railway Station, which closed in 1972, has been rehabilitated as a significant cultural and tourism landmark. President Ali said the project honors Ghana's history while creating a modern, family-friendly public space.
The railway courtyard has significant historical connections with the people of Guyana, the growth of Guyana, the challenges of the people of Guyana. In the coming days and weeks, you will see this courtyard transform into a historic pre-independence historic walk. So when you walk through the courtyard going all the way to Sheriff Street, you'll be walking through the pre-independence history on one side of the walkway, in story and in picture. This took almost 3 years of research. Dr. Davidin and the team in the British Archives, more than 80,000 words examined. And then on the other side of the walk, we will have the post-independence. You will find within the courtyard bust of all the former presidents.
More than 3 years of historic research, including work led by historian Dr. David Davidine in the British Archives, will inform a curated visual story along the walkway.
Along the walk in the courtyard, specific sections for health and wellness. You have outdoor gym equipment, and it is designed specifically for families, children, and women especially, to have a safe environment. As we build the tourism sector and work on the cruise market, this will also be one of the main walking areas in the city, along with the seawall.
The initiative is part of a larger revitalization of downtown Georgetown, including enhanced drainage, cultural installations, improved public spaces, and a complete walking loop linking key city landmarks. The historic rail infrastructure behind the courtyard will also be restored and repurposed into craft shops by the end of the year. Dr. Ali said the courtyard will remain open even as GRE operations are relocated. A festive public opening is scheduled for Friday evening. Don't go away after the break. Trump targets Somali Americans, claims they are destroying America, and Indonesian landslides and floods, hundreds of thousands displaced.
This Christmas runs on real connections with Digicel. The calls, the laughter, the joy, and the chance to pick and win big. We're giving away $12 million. Yes, every week, one lucky Digicel customer gets a chance to win up to $2 million. 6 lucky winners in total. Here's how you get in. Top up with $1,000 or more, or pay your fiber or postpaid bill in full. The more you top up, the more chances you get. Stay connected this Christmas for your chance to win big. Digicel.
Check us out at Decor and Gift Gallery this Christmas holiday for all your shopping needs. We are located at 47 Craig and Sheriff Street, Campbellville, Georgetown.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening. I'm Dominic Gittins. Tonight, Presidents Lula and Trump signal warming ties after a productive call on trade and crime. Washington defends its strikes on Venezuelan boats. Trump ramps up anti-immigrant attacks, and Indonesia's deadly floods leave hundreds missing. We begin with Brazil and the United States. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and US President Donald Trump held a productive 40-minute call signaling improved relations after months of tension. The leaders discussed lowering trade barriers and strengthening cooperation against organized crime. Both pledged continued dialogue as Washington rolls back some tariffs and Brazil pursued tougher anti-crime measures. The US insists it's bombing boats to stop Venezuelan drug smugglers from flooding America with narcotics. But Venezuela contends that Washington wants regime change and to get its hands on huge reserves of oil. Al Jazeera's Phil Lavelle reports.
Puerto Rico is really close to Venezuela. About 800 kilometers across that sea is the world's largest known crude oil reserve. Is that what this military buildup is all about? No, claims the US. It is targeting what it says are drug boats bringing cocaine and fentanyl across the Caribbean. Washington has been bombing them for months. Yes, says Venezuela. The claim from Caracas, America wants its so-called black gold, and it's pushing regime change. 15,000 troops are here now, the biggest US military deployment to the Caribbean since the Cuban Missile Crisis.
If it's a very quick attack, there might be a blip in the oil prices, and it'll come down. If the Americans decide to go for regime change or a longer-term military presence, of course, it'll lead to more uncertainty.
Venezuela had an estimated 303 billion barrels of crude as of 2023. That is more than Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. But it only exported $4 billion worth because it's hampered by sanctions brought in by President Trump his first time around.
They are trying to get sympathy, mostly political sympathy.
The US, by comparison, produces more oil than any other country in history, and it's upping that. Remember this election promise?
We will drill, baby, drill.
But America can only produce light, sweet crude, good for gasoline, not much else. Venezuela's heavy, sour crude has more purposes. Think asphalt or diesel. And diesel is in tight supply globally because of those sanctions. Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, has written to OPEC. That's the group of oil-producing nations. Venezuela was a founding member. He's warning them that the US is trying to steal what's theirs.
Venezuela, for the American oil companies, will be a field day because it will be more than $1 trillion in economic activity.
Maduro saying, we've seen what happens when America tries to take another country's oil. And by that, he is referencing what is still very much a highly emotive subject in the United States. The 2003 invasion of and subsequent war in Iraq.
I think Americans have already decided, whether or not they're going to support Trump in his foreign policy adventures without reference to Iraq. It's kind of baked into how things are going.
Ultimately, the US government says this is not about oil. This is about protecting Americans from a flood of narcotics. Fentanyl, particularly, has claimed a lot of lives. So, could airstrikes, if the order is given to launch them from Puerto Rico? Venezuelans, in fact, much of the world now watching and waiting to see where the White House takes this next. Phil Lavelle, Al Jazeera, Sabre, Puerto Rico.
US President Donald Trump has intensified attacks on Somali Americans and immigrants. He claims they are destroying the country amid rising anti-immigrant rhetoric. Al Jazeera's Charles Stratford reports.
I don't want them in our country. Their country is no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country.
President Donald Trump's comments have shocked many of the estimated 260,000 people of Somali descent living in the US. Bahaja Ali owns a cafe in Minneapolis, which is one of the largest Somali communities in America.
The fear among the Somali community is real. Like this mall, if you come to around noon, nobody's here. It is deserted. Every business is closed, and it has been like this for the last 3 days. And we are really, as small business owner, I'm scared that people are not showing up to buy from me. And I am I don't want to close my business.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar was born in Mogadishu and was granted asylum in the US in 1995 after fleeing the Civil War. She has since had a successful political career and is often outspoken about Trump's policies.
The president has always had very bigoted, xenophobic, Islamophobic comments when it comes to, people who are of Muslim faith or people who are black. We've seen him call African nations as holes, and so it's not really surprising. But what is weird to me is just how creepy he's been obsessed with me and the Somali community.
Trump has ratcheted up his anti-immigration rhetoric since the shooting of 2 National Guard troops in Washington last week. An Afghan man has been charged with murder. He has pleaded not guilty. Trump has promised to freeze migration from what he describes as third world countries. This was the reaction from people in the Somali capital.
This is intolerable. Trump insults Somalis several times every day, calling us garbage and other derogatory names we can no longer tolerate. Our leaders should address his remarks.
My view of the US and living there has changed dramatically. I never thought a president, especially in his second term, would speak so harshly. Because of this, I have no plans to travel to the US.
Trump has stepped up his criticism of Somalis living in the US after what has been described as reports in a conservative news publication said taxpayers' money from defrauded government programs was being sent to Al-Shabaab, an armed group operating in Somalia, which the US designated a terrorist organization in 2008. An investigation is ongoing, but little evidence has emerged so far. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera.
At least 770 people are now known to have died in flooding and landslides on the Indonesian island of Sumatra. More than 460 are still missing. Local authorities have appealed for more help from the national government as they battle shortages of food, fuel, and other essentials. Al Jazeera's Jessica Washington reports.
In North Tapanuli, Sri Yuni Pardede was home with her husband and his family when suddenly she says she heard a loud crash.
My mother-in-law said, "That's just thunder." I said, "No, it's not. Look, the whole house is shaking." Not long after that, boulders came crashing down.
She says she quickly grabbed her baby, 1-year-old Eleanor, and in the darkness ran to the nearby church, where she and other displaced people have been staying for a week.
Now, whenever I hear sounds like a door opening or closing, I still get scared. Loud noises shock me. When I heard a helicopter, I nearly fainted because I thought another landslide was coming from above.
Areas in Indonesia's North and West Sumatra and Aceh province are struggling with extensive damage. Some communities still can't be reached, with many roads and bridges damaged. Some people are walking for hours through the mud to try and get food.
Hundreds of thousands of people are displaced and staying in emergency shelters. Several villages across the 3 affected provinces, North and West Sumatra and Aceh, have been almost completely wiped out.
Local officials in Aceh have signed a letter calling on the central government for further assistance. There's a shortage of food, fuel and heavy machinery, and power lines are down.
The Regency of Pidijaya begged that the provincial and central government help us in our relief and recovery efforts after this disaster, as we are limited in funds and equipment.
The central government says it's ready to help distribute aid to meet the urgent needs of those in affected areas. Calls for the government to declare a national state of emergency have grown louder among local authorities as the death toll continues to rise. In some affected areas, hundreds of logs washed up, pushed into villages by floodwaters. Environmental groups have highlighted the role of deforestation for sectors like gold and coal mining and palm oil in worsening the impact of the cyclone.
When these ecosystems are damaged, their ability to regulate water systems or hydrology disappears. When flood risks arise, the destructive impact becomes much greater.
The impact for hundreds of thousands who have now lost their livelihoods is devastating. This woman says all the products in her small store have been destroyed or washed away. Economists say Indonesia's economy will incur losses of more than $4 billion because of the widespread destruction. Jessica Washington, Al Jazeera, North Sumatra.
Thanks, Dominique. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3D weather forecast. And that's it with you headline news for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.